How's it going, everybody? We're back in action. It's been a few weeks. Had a death in the family. Had some rearranged flights, ruined plans, but we're back. And that's why it's been 21 days since we live streamed. Life got in the way. Had to take a little breather. Working on my lawn. That's why I'm extra hot and sweaty today, on top of it being hot in this room. So we will see if I can have just massive amounts of sweat by the end of the day. So, what are we talking about today? First question is, what's the best way to run two heaters on a 75-gallon tank, keeping it at 77? So there's a couple facets here I wanted to help everybody. First and foremost, run a top on your aquarium if you're trying to optimize heaters. It makes them just go so much further in terms of you should only have to use one, right? So a top, that's going to be your biggest optimization right there. Then after that, placement by flow. So hopefully you've got good flow in your aquarium everywhere, and you've got new water circulating to that heater. That's going to continually keep telling it, hey, what temperature is it? Hey, this is cooler. I better heat it up. Hey, it's temperature enough. I better stop heating. And so, for aesthetics, a lot of times we'll tuck it off in the corner. But for, most even temperature, you don't want to do that. That being said, your fish can handle a very wide swing of temperatures. That's why they survive shipping. That's why you see fish stores heat the whole room, and my fish room does the same way. Only if you're really trying to specifically breed some of the rare, hard to breed fish or something like that do I really dial in. Like I've got cardinal shrimp. I'm using a heater there, keeping it fairly accurate. That being said, they can handle a swing as well. So, it's I would go with one. If you already bought two, set one aside. If you haven't bought any yet, just buy one. Start with one, and you might be able to save yourself some money. My goal is sell you a great product, stand behind 100%, but then also save you money on the way. And our products aren't always the cheapest, but hopefully the education makes up that gap of like, well, normally I run two 200-watt heaters, and I buy them, and they're $40 a piece, and that would have been $80. Instead, you're locking one in at under $30 and getting the job done. Maybe you buy glass tops, and that sets you back $40. You're at 70, but you'll save on that heating bill year after year after year. So, the goal is efficiency. It's good for your pocketbook, good for the environment, good for everybody. So, let's see here. When's the next Amazon trip? I don't know. We just bought an engine for that boat we bought last year. They thought they had a line on an engine. Turns out they didn't. I think they needed $8,500, and we said, you know what? We'll just buy it. So another year funding the Amazon medical boat. So it's a small skiff boat that goes from the big boat where all the doctors sleep and everything that gets to the small communities. And so now they'll have a nice fresh boat, and when we go back, we'll get to see it. It should have our name on it and all that kind of cool stuff. But I'm still passionate about that area, mostly because I've been there, and it seems like such a small amount of money goes so far. And I know there's lots of charities and stuff that have that same effect. This one just seems to feel in line with my interests, and I've been there and met some of these people they're helping firsthand, which not all charities allow me to do that, so it feels a little more special to me. So, yeah. All right. 5 gifted memberships. And I can see the hearts nowadays. Ooh, wait. Although I can't click one. I tried to click it and it said it can't be performed. But you guys can click the hearts and things like that, so that's cool. People always ask, how do we get a free membership? Be engaged with the channel. Leave comments, watch videos, the like button, the dislike button, any way in which you interact with our channel, that boosts your ranking. And the longer you watch, those types of things. So it just goes down the list. And you also have to opt in. So usually there's a little button there, you click opt in. I'd like to be able to get a free one. And they do that to prevent or to make it safer for children in case it was an inappropriate channel and they automatically got membership from some behind the scenes, Why membership? Don't. No, the membership, you get extra talks. There's an extra video. We put out a video today, I think. So an extra video today about actually energy savings in my fish room, and I talked all about heaters and everything, and apps I'm using to monitor it and what I'm doing, and gonna report the results long term. But that was the beginning. So you get some extra videos. You get the once a month we hire a speaker and we pay them $500. We buy them a camera and we buy them a headset, so we have good video and audio, and they're an expert in their field typically. So that happens once a month, kind of our club, right? And then also you save 5% on the not on the warehouse, on the website, 5% on everything you buy. So that if you spend $100, that makes it free, kind of. And then you get membership coins. I think I probably have some sitting here. I have the 1 year, the Tuno. Wow, how did I not name this Tuno? That's a grave oversight, by the way, not naming this Tuno anniversary. And we got the 3-year membership, which I think is my personal favorite. And the 4th, I think it's downstairs. I have one, and then you have the one you could purchase. You could start the collection, and then the super rare wild caught. And then I've only ever given out 2, but my business card is also a coin. But it's got my personal email and everything on it, so it doesn't given out very often. There's probably some other perks. Yeah, the whole backlog of videos. Oh yeah, scratch and dent stuff. You can buy scratch and dent crap on the website. So if the box got damaged, guess what? We throw it there and give it an additional 15% off usually. You get member access to new drops. So like we just got confirmation that Oliver Knott's books are in America. Now they just got to make it from the other coast to us. So you'll have first access to buy those. We've only got 400. So if we have almost 4,000 members, and they might get gobbled up. And if they don't, after a week, guess what? Everybody can buy them. We're limiting it to maximum 2, so hopefully heading off the scalping and things like that. So we don't want people to buy it because they're signed copies. They're all signed by Oliver, and 5 of them actually have a fish that he's hand-drawn. We're figuring out what we're going to do for that. And we don't want someone, buying a bunch and then reselling them on Amazon or something, because a lot of people don't know the book exists and the book's pretty cool, and then out-of-print stuff. And, like Chris Lukup's magazine, the first edition goes for $1,000, which is completely against his whole ethos. He would rather it be free, and but he doesn't own the rights to it. I think Dennerley does at the moment, so he can't even give it away. But, you make information to give it, or not to give it away, but to get it out there in an affordable manner. Like, obviously, books cost money, so you got to pay for that. There's a publishing house, and all of those things are shipping. But, yeah. All right. The Corridor Members Talk is worth the membership alone. Yes, there's some very cool talks. There's ones on meds. There's ones on Corridor poisons. Ones on Corridor breeding. There's shrimp breeding and keeping. There's, I think we had Pleco Barbie on there. We've had... Anthony Mazerall was recently. Dean's coming up. I know he's scheduled to give a talk. I'm trying to think of. I know there's just lots more. We're in month like 18 almost. So I think if you signed up today for your $5, you'd get like 18 hour plus long presentations. You can watch the whole back catalog plus all the videos that we filled in with. So it's kind of great. Why can't the membership be free for all the time? I like the forum I belong to, because the world doesn't work that way. Yeah, it's well, I could make it cheaper, but I use the money to do things like donating to Amazon and paying our speakers and buying them equipment. Part of it is the Aquarium Co-op's goal is to give back more than just making money, and so we do that in very weird ways. Though, like what we first started seeing when we wanted to interact with speakers, and we try to get them to come online, they would have poor audio and poor video, because they would just have like their laptop and it might have a 720p camera, and the audio was kind of just like, oof. They'd be great. They'd be amazing in person. You go, wow, this person, great stage presence and all that. And it would all get ruined because of their equipment and the technicalities. So we not only pay them the $500, we buy them a good webcam and a good headset that they get to keep forever. So every presentation they forever do for any other club or anything like that will be better. So, and that's happening a lot more, obviously, since COVID. And, so part of the membership money, we get a decent amount of money. It's like 10 grand a month, you know, and it's a little under 600 goes straight for the speaker every month. Plus we have Zenzo's salary and we have other people's salary to make some of those things happen. A lot of you wouldn't know there's several test meets before we have a talk. We're testing their Wi-Fi and just making sure their equipment works, and we still get some stumbles here and there because computers can be fickle, but we try really hard to make sure that right out of the gate we get going well. We've had follow-up videos where we fly out or travel out and film and do stuff like that. So I think we did that with Tom Barr. We did a post thing, and we did some Q&A with Gian, with the beta judge, and yeah. So we try to harness that money and put it back into things. There's other little things going on. Like right now, here's the cute and adorable Aquarium Co-op bag that you can buy at aquariumcoop.com. I think these ones are $1.99. This is more like your lunch bag size. And to quote the guy that loves to be negative in the room, I have those. I have reusable bags. And I said, cool, buddy. I found some that I like, and they got our name on it. So yeah, I mean, I'm just a guy that tests everything. These are the best bags. So just know that of like, oh, how do you know they're the best? Because I tested way too many before I put my name on them. That's how I know. And I had fallen in love with these. Zenzo had fallen in love with them. Randy made fun of them nonstop, thought we were idiots. And then when he got the prototypes, guess who was using them every time he went shopping? Randy was. Turns out these are the perfect ones. So they come in that small size, and they come in the I'm going to the beach / fish store size, or the grocery store, and you're really going to do some shopping. And, you could probably get 8 bags of fish or something like that in there. It's quite big. What I love about them, they hold their shape really well. They pack down easily. You guys will see these. You'll be getting some of these at events and stuff coming up. We've already sent some out for some of the events coming up that we won't be there, but we want to still support. And there's actually a way right now, I won't tell you, but there's a certain item, if you order on the website, you get a bag for free. Kind of a little fun thing I like to do and see how long it takes for people to figure out, like, hey, if you order this item, you're going to get this free bag. Because we don't want people to game the system, but I wanted to find a way to get them out there. And there'll be some more stuff coming for the retail store and stuff like that too. My goal is to get a bunch of people using reusable bags. They've got our name on it. Perfect. And we all pretty much have to move that way, so may as well use up some Aquarium Co-op advertising, get a great bag, and make them as affordable as possible to you, and that is our goal. So you might see them at some of the retail partner stores, you'll see them at our store, and I'm going to find some way to give them away at our store, like spend X, get them, or something like buy them, and then you get $1 off each order over $20 or something. So my goal is not to make any money on those bags. It's purely to get them and get them being reused and get people liking them and, get the advertising basically and replace plastic bags. Even though we got a bunch of oxo-degradable bags, this will help other stores and stuff too. Do members still get coins? Yep. I passed the 1-year member and I haven't received a coin in my latest order. You could always send an email to us, Carmo's Creations, and what happens is after you hit the mark, you'll place an order. That order will actually look at it and go, hey, you're over the mark. Tag them for the next order. What happens sometimes, depending on when you signed up, over the couple years now, there's been some glitches in the YouTube and our website connection. Sometimes they get stuck. So sometimes repairing your account, or you can shoot us a quick email. We can take a look and go, nope, yep, it does show you've been here over 12 months. You're set up on the next one to get a free coin. It's not, I mean, it is free, but you earned it, right? So it's not really free. You paid for it. But yeah, someone was asking, do we do this at the store? We still don't. We're terrible as a company, and I avoid things that are going to be too cumbersome. And that's basically that. We don't have a good way yet in which you can walk into the store and say, hey, look, I'm this member. We could hand you the coins, but my store staff don't know how to get way into the back end of the system and flag it so you've got the coins and you're not getting them shipped extra and all that kind of craziness. So it's on the to-do list, but the companies we use to do all of our checkout and everything are making it very difficult. So I haven't perfected that yet. And yeah, maybe we'll do, when the retail store opens, we're going to do a big, well, maybe not a big event. We're going to do an event. Maybe we'll put some staff and go, hey, there's a reason to be here. Come get your coins. They can do that. Write down all the names. And then we'll go through after the fact and we'll have customer service kind of check those off. So happy today, my local fish store announced they're now a retail partner store. Yes, today I posted on my Facebook. If you're not following me on Facebook, you can. I posted because I want to see the milestone kind of every year. We hit 100 partner stores today. So that's kind of a huge milestone from, a fat kid working at a store that maybe did $4,000 in sales before I went on my own, made my own store, and here we are in 100 mom and pop stores, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down, which is good. That means the program's working. More and more are joining, which is good, and we're looking to keep up, that's for sure. We have another cargo container next week full of more LED lights to make sure we don't run out. Will we be at the Keystone Clash this year? We will not. I think our bags might be, though. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they might. I don't think I'm doing any events. Am I doing any? I haven't committed to any events. I know I'm working on doing some content and stuff for you guys. So this month I go to China for like 10 days. And then in August I do Europe for 3 weeks. Trying to plan some content with Oliver Knott and Chris Lukup and do some tours of some cool stores that we know about. And also want to do some underwater wild footage in Albania and Romania, I think. Yeah, I think those are the two. But once I land in Europe, we never know, because we start going places, then people realize, wait, you're in Europe? Come see me. And then we go all over the place. So I'm not even sure where I'll end up. I never listened to live streams until I got into the hobby, and yours is my favorite. Well, there's something to be said for being the best of one. You got nothing to compare it to. Yeah, I don't listen to many live streams anymore, or podcasts, that kind of stuff. I do a little bit when I mow the lawn, but now I think it's just, for me, I'm so like analyzing our own content and brainstorming the new content and all that kind of stuff that my brain wants a rest from bringing in more of that information. So, yeah. Does your membership time change with each renewal? I keep getting hacked and had to get a new bank card twice last year. In theory, nope, it should all be stacking. So as long as you don't make a new YouTube account, should be no problem. You can take breaks, you can have your card get compromised, which is unfortunate, any of that, and as long as the $5 goes to YouTube, you get your next month. Have you heard anything about something taking the place of Aquatic Experience? John, I haven't. I know that one of the main guys that was making that whole show happen, Zach Frank, he works for Vivi now, and Sarah, I think, still. Which, if you guys don't know, Vivi is this new buy fish online. It's kind of like I don't know, eBay for fish. I don't know. I haven't ordered anything on it. Jury's still out. I don't know if I'm officially endorsing it or not yet, but it is new, and so I thought I'd mention it. I don't know anything about it other than there's a few people kind of bankrolling it, and there's people like Garden of Eater and stuff like that starting to sell some stuff on there, but I don't want to go too heavy on it, and then in a year they flip to this crazy, it costs $1 billion to do anything with the model. So, we'll see over time. All right. Would you partner with fish stores in Seattle? Yep. We have some in Bellingham. We have some south of Seattle. If the fish store, Dan or John at Place for Pets, or not a Place for Pets, right? Denny's Pet World, or, a Place for Pets, they don't do a whole lot of fish anymore, I don't think. But yeah, we don't have a reason to gatekeep our products. We believe that our retail store, the reason you would go there is for the quality of our fish If not, you could go online. And so I think it'll be a while before more local stores carry our product because it's probably a sore subject. It would be my guess, but you know, we're not doing anything to gatekeep them from it. So I love the Aquariumcoop community. Me too. I try to keep it positive wherever I am, whether it's Facebook group, the forum, the videos. Oh yeah, there's another benefit we're trying out. That is, for the next 6 weeks, we're in the pilot program to give members access to videos a day early. So that makes it easy for me to see all your guys' comments if you're a member, and then the next day the video comes out. So you also get, that's one little, smaller thing. It's a fish marketplace. Yeah, how is that different than eBay or Aquabid or Amazon? I think it's just a different name. There's always a lot of branding that goes into it, which I'll be the first to say Vivi was the worst name you could possibly pick for a fish marketplace. And before you Google it, it has 2 or 3 V's. Yeah. So you got to use 3 V's to get there. What aquarium manufacturer would you recommend on my experience of quality? So far for me, it would be, if we're looking for absolute quality, there is Custom Fabricators Inc. in Seattle, does aquarium or acrylic aquariums, and then there is Custom Aquariums, which does all my glass aquariums. I like them quite a bit also. But if it's just like, hey, I just need a 40-gallon or a 55 or just like a normal size tank, honestly, they're all kind of the same, and just go buy one, and they're fairly inexpensive, and you just I so rarely have ever had a problem with any off-the-shelf type of tank. Have I ever buried Hank yet? Nope, he still lives in the freezer. That tree is still there. We have not planted it yet. That being said, we've been doing a bunch of we finally hired some people to help us with landscaping, and so we've been doing a bunch of work. In fact, today I was testing out my new lawn sweeper because I'm dethatching and trying to turn my top yard into a meadow of clover. And so after the live stream, I'll potentially be dethatching some more, getting ready for tomorrow where we lay down the seed, debating whether I'm going to buy a lawn aerator or not, attachment for my lawnmower, which, by the way, the lawnmower saga, last time Bob had told me he broke the lawnmower while we were live streaming. Lawnmower arrives back this Thursday after a tune-up, and them fixing all the things that one was broken from the factory, and all the stuff we've done to it, about $500. Things should purr like a kitten, and we'll be back in action. That's the hope. And then I'm actually sending my Home Depot electric lawnmower special that sounds like the creakiest shrill sound ever, like the shocks have never seen any kind of grease or anything. I'm going to send that with them and go, hey, can you make this thing not suck? And we'll see what they can do. So, yeah, turtle eggs. While we were out of town, we got a bunch more. You guys probably watched a video about some turtle eggs, but we got 13 more while we were gone. So if my setup is right, it's going to be Turtle City in a little while, which will be good. Hey, Kyle Hernandez, I haven't seen you in a little while, buddy. Thanks for the shout out. When are we talking about fish? I don't know, Ghost. When are you asking a fish question? Is the Easy Green 120 milliliter and the 500 milliliter the same concentration? I'm having to use 70 drops for my 10 gallon per week. Yeah, they're the same concentrations. So you could buy the bigger bottle and just go to 7 pumps. And what I would do, this is me, even if I had most of this left, I would buy the bigger bottle, start using it, and when that thing got low enough, I would dump the rest of this in there, and now I've got just the easy one. Let's see here. Do I still recommend Guppy Train for a good source of guppies? No. And I always had good dealings with that guy, but supposedly in the guppy world, there's been some guppy drama around that guy. I don't even know the extent of it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend him. That being said, I myself never had a problem, but I understand that it will be rare for a guy like me to have a problem because they want me to push their product and they want to make sure I have a great experience because they make more money from that. And for all I know, the next person that comes along, they could treat them horribly. So I don't know the full story of it, but I'm not going out of my way to recommend them. I never had a problem. If I personally was shopping guppies today, I would be looking, I think, at three sources. One would be Michael's Fish Room. Another one would be Twin City Guppies. And the third one would be John Oliver. He sells stuff on Band, and he runs a couple of the guppy groups on Facebook. That's where I would be looking. That being said, I don't even know what I'd be looking for. I'm pretty much going, ooh, what looks nice? I haven't had that. I'll get some of that. And who has that? I don't know. So I'd probably be looking at all of them. I'm not finding the axolotls any trouble, but the community around them seems super uptight. Yeah, pretty much if like maybe I don't know if you get kicked out or you move above it, but it's like of the ranking of people that are like a pain to deal with, beta people, and not just like I'll have a beta. I'm saying people like I got 11 betas, I've rescued them all, and you don't even know about betas. Let me educate you for the next 12 hours. So like beta aficionado crazy people and axolotl people, they are both, yeah. There's some goldfish people like that too. There's quite a few. There's some in every group, but some of that stuff really starts running wild with itself. What's my favorite slow growing plants for my tanks? I love cryptocorns. Someone else asked, what do you do about the melt? Let me merge these two together. So with cryptocorns, I basically throw them in, give them some root tabs, let them melt back if they want. They do about 50% of the time. The big secret is do nothing. Like, if there is a light on in the room, they will grow. If they have water, they will grow. If you give them some fertilizer, they'll grow better. Short of fish actually eating them, they just kind of push forward. Now, that being said, they're very, very slow. And so, if you grow a stem plant and you're like, look, it got twice as big in a week, that will not be the experience you'll get with a cryptocorn. That's good, though. I want them to be very slow. So that way, it takes forever to grow in. But then you only got to trim it like once every 2 years. And that I love. What's the best fish to breed for profit as a beginner? I would watch our whole series. If you go to our advice center on the website, you can watch Breeding Fish for Profit. And in my opinion, my favorite setup that I ever did was fancy guppies and cherry shrimp in the same 20-gallon tank. Worked pretty darn well for me. Times change, markets change, all of that. But, honestly, every time I see an auction for cherry shrimp at like a local club and stuff like that, they're always going for pretty darn good. People always need more shrimps. Which Rapashi would I recommend for autocinkless and which for the Hillstream loaches? I would just go with the community blend. I find it to be more palatable for everybody. You'll see people recommend, like, I've had good luck with Soylent Green, I've had good luck with this. I find the best luck with just the community blend. Everything pretty much wants to try it. I haven't, in my experience, seen where, like, ooh, the autos wouldn't eat community, but they will eat this in my care. I'm sure it's happened for some people out there. You get enough hundreds of thousands of people doing a thing, and then eventually it's like, well, mine did the other. Like, yep, there's always going to be an exception. But having food available, having some algae, having just a well-seasoned tank, all those things are going to go in the right steps to keeping some healthy autocinkless. Hola, Senor Corey! I love your channel and thank you for the positive contributions to the aquarium world and culture. Well, thank you. Hoping I can find some new stuff to share with everybody when I'm in China. It's been 3 years, so hopefully some technological breakthroughs or something that hopefully we find new products to sell. That'd be great because that pays for the trip. But otherwise, just new stuff. Like, I'm still surprised we don't have the Wi-Fi controlled canister filters from Aqua and stuff. Those I saw before COVID. That makes it like 4 years now. It's still not out. So maybe they ran into some snags or something like that. Can ammonia poisoning provoke gill disease? I don't know that I know enough to say one way or another. My common sense gene would say probably. If you start compromising the immune system, you start causing damage in gill area to see some more, gill damage happen. Yeah, definitely gill burn is a real thing, and as you burn the gills on fish, they're having to work harder to just process everything, and so it's much easier for them to fall onto hard times. So yeah, I would say it could, but there's a fish nerd out there going, nope, that's impossible, and here's why. The chemical composition of Doritos nacho cheese means that it can't be done. What's my opinion of glowfish? They seem unnatural to me. They seem dope AF to me. I don't sell them because I don't support the company because I don't think they're. I think it's. I don't support the fact that it's illegal to breed them for a home hobbyist. I do think they look really cool. I could see myself owning some someday. I want to just look at the Corridoras. The red tiger barbs are super cool, but I haven't done it. And what would, I think, turn the tide for me, what I'm struggling with is I don't really want to support that company, but I do think if I kept a tank of glowfish, a lot more people would identify with that because I know lots of hobbyists have them. And because it's a gateway fish, people get in and go, wow, this is a colorful fish. I want to keep that. And then they start the hobby. And I think it would be fun to keep a tank like that and people would sympathize or identify with that a lot more. And I do think they look cool, though. It's not natural, but there's tons of stuff in my life that I think are cool and not natural. So while I feel like I try to keep an open mind and can appreciate both sides of it. Some of the coolest tanks I've ever seen have been customers that come in that maybe are doing it for their son or their daughter, and they are not realistic at all. I remember one that won an award at one of the aquatic experiences that I thought was super cool. They made it a computer, and like not like you're thinking like, oh yeah, computer case. They just used computer parts, so he like covered pieces of RAM and silicone and used keycaps from the keyboard, and it was just super cool because it was a child's aquascaping competition, and I thought it was neat, and well, other people did too. So I don't think we always have to chase would it look like this in the wild. I think you're much better off going, do I enjoy this? And if the answer is yes, then there's a lot of ways in which we might not agree with different companies and all that, but at the end of the day, if you're staying engaged in the hobby and you're having a ton of fun, that trumps a lot for me. How do you like to use hydrogen peroxide for blackbeard algae? The internet's divided. I only use it in a spray bottle, and I spray it on it, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and wash it off. I don't do any. Well, I've done a couple times, but I pretty much never just dose the water or the aquarium. I drain water really low, spray it on plants or backgrounds or whatever it is I need, or take the rocks out, do it that way. Or even plants, Anubias and that kind of stuff, I'll take it out that way and spray it, let it sit for 5 minutes, rinse it off, put it back in. My customers want to know, will the 2-valve air pump come back out? The 2-valve air pump from the Blue Lagoon Pet Store. The 2-valve air pump. Are you talking about the battery-powered one that is in stock? Let me make sure. I'm going to refresh the page. Yeah, it's in stock. Is it that one? If so, it's here. If it's some other pump that I'm just having a brain fart about, let me know. I don't think we've had any other ones. Last time we had a 2-outlet air pump would have been Aquatops. Let's see. Michael Lawson, ask your question. I will try to see it. If you're going to use that's another benefit I forgot. Memberships, you get a, well, one, you get to chat here, and then two, you get the green message 1 a month after your first month. So try to use your question there because those really stick out and are easy for me to see. Whereas you're going to ask your question, and now I got to hunt between everybody else and go, okay, where is that happening at? Let's see. Anybody else going to Dallas Aquashella? I thought about trying to sneak into that one just low key, but it's 2 days, I think, before I get on the plane to China. So I know I'll be running around, just crazy. Our Cory catfish laid eggs on the glass in our tank, a 29-gallon. Can anyone give me any tips? I've got some videos on how to collect eggs, and I've read corridors on the channel, but what I do is I grab, is there anything I can get out of here that won't give away my life? Nope, wait, maybe. This thing. This thing saves me 5 or 10% on biscuits and gravy at the casino. And so you get yourself a little credit card like this, and here's your tank. And what you want to do is you just want to kind of scrape like this and get all the eggs to go on the credit card. You can technically pull them with your finger and that kind of stuff, but this is if you're nervous, which a lot of new people would be. You just get them all on there. Then you can take them and deposit them like in a container. I like to use a little piece of Tupperware or something. And what I'll do is I'll just go to the kitchen, make sure my wife is out of the room, grab a piece, and then as long as you only fill it like halfway, it'll float in your tank. And so what I do is I get about halfway full of water, then I get the eggs into there, and I will just change that water every day. I kind of let some water in, let some water out, let some water in, let some water out. And then when they hatch, you've got these little fry. I'll feed them in there, same kind of deal. Water in, water out, water in, water out. And from there you could optimize that and start using breeder boxes or make your own, those types of things. And another tip I should say, if you can get a hold of some methylene blue, that can help prevent eggs from fungusing. Not everyone has that problem though, so you might just try the first batch and see how it goes. I pretty much always try the natural method first because it might just work and then I don't have to worry about it. And then if it doesn't work, usually they're going to lay eggs again. Then I might come in and go, well, I have to intervene somehow and give it a chance. My first live stream, I'm relatively new to the hobby. Can't express how much Aquariumcoop, or how much help Aquariumcoop has been. Well, good. If you're new or been around or anything, check out the Advice Center. We're putting a ton of energy into that. Every week we're adding more and more and more and more. I want it to become the epicenter, the library for basically everything community fish plant related. I think this week we got a section up on tank maintenance. We've got a section on fish diseases. We've got a section on how to set up a tank, how to get rid of algae, cookie cutter setups. If you're going, I want to set up this, we got you covered. Breeding aquarium fish, we got you covered. Aquarium filtration, aquarium plant care, and we have 62 different articles on how to care for different species of fish. About 4,000 more to go on that, but hey. Yeah, biscuits and gravy at the casino. That's right. They got the world's best biscuits and gravy, which is ironic. And I don't gamble at all. So I always feel super guilty as I'm like, nope, just eating today. Like, I don't gamble. I have gambled in the past, but I never was like, ooh, super fun. Instead, I was always like, this $20 could have bought fish or Magic the Gathering cards, something that was tangible and not, the quick time. So, and I don't feel as guilty because you pay full price at this casino for the food. It's not like some casinos where it's like, the food's $2 and you gamble $1 billion to pay for it. So I don't like to I always like to have, as far as I can tell, close to an even exchange. You provide a service, I pay you, and that worked out well, as I don't like it to not be reciprocal. Anyone have details about scales growing over the dragon scale betta? I think you've been a member for like 2 months, it looks like. Look at the talk that Jeanne did. I think she addressed if it wasn't in the member talk, it was in the talks I did with her many years ago, the 2-part series, and about the scales growing over the eyes and things. I don't remember all the details. I don't think there's a whole lot you can do for it, but I think she was able to explain the genetics and why it's happening and things like that. So, for a long-term aquarium, would I recommend acrylic or glass? for me personally, if money is no object, I'll take acrylic every time. I like that they're lighter. I like that they hold temperature better. I like that they're typically clearer. Um, yeah, but they're always way more expensive than glass. So, especially big tanks, if I'm going to put a showpiece in my house, let's say you're going to build a wall, I would put acrylic because I want that thing to never leak ever, and I don't want to have to come back in 12 years and go, uh-oh, my glass tank is leaking, got to tear out the drywall, get a different tank in, and then repair the drywall and all that again. So I would go with acrylic. Where would you start if you want to become a master breeder? Um, well, I would look to see if you have a local group, and on the website at the bottom, we do have a. Maybe I can find that. Can I find that? Yeah, local aquarium club link. So you could find if you have a local club. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. And I would start there, see if they have a program. If not, because not everyone's got a local club or they don't have a program, you could look into the care. I can see my like video is buffering. That's always a great sign. Do I have internet? Let's see. Looks like I do. Keep going. Do I have any photos of Hank's necropsy? I don't. I don't have any photos. He's still frozen though. To be honest, I'm not sure I would wanted to see them. It was a very emotional time for me to lose him. Have I ever considered developing a heater with a USB or battery backup? So I have considered it, but I think the challenges you run into is battery or heaters use quite a bit of wattage. And so a battery backup for it takes quite a bit of energy and would be pretty expensive. And the USB, I'm not sure that USB can supply, well, that's not true. We are getting to the point now where USB can supply enough through, I'm not even sure, honestly. Maybe. I'm not sure what the limits of USB Type-C are. Maybe around 80 watts, something like that. I'm not sure where we're hitting the limits, but when you start hitting those upper limits, you start running into this getting expensive. And, so if you start paying $30, $40 for a cable that can do that and a power brick, now you're looking at heaters that are over $100. I don't doubt, though, that maybe in 10 years, we might be able to pull something like that off. So I am hopeful, and I'm hoping to find, there's different things I want to look out for in China. Like I want to find an aquarium manufacturer I want to work with, both for warehouse tanks and for retail tanks to sell. And when I do it, I want to make as many of the components I can be kind of USB. And that way those kits can get sold in Canada. And as we expand around the world, they could get sold everywhere, would be the hope. But as you delve into projects, you learn more and more. What are the limitations? Oh, that's the limitation. Well, maybe we can't do that. And we've learned some things already, and we apply the fixes, and we're changing things, and we're getting, we get feedback from creators, we get feedback from stores. We're working on another change. There's another change to our heaters we're working on right now, and don't know if it'll hit real time. We still got to test a little bit, but Ben Ochart said the bottom of our heater, there's no holes. And so some crud can, like from his African cichlids, crud builds up in there. Makes sense. We're going to try to put some holes down there. So we got to change the mold and that kind of stuff and get some, get some prototypes going. But a generation or two down the road, there might be 2 more holes than there was before. So we try to just continually improve and learn from, and that's the thing is, there's a big difference between, is it a problem? It's not a problem. Is it an optimization we could make? Yes, that is an optimization we can make. Can you put silver dollars with gold severums? Yeah, that's usually a safe bet. Any tips for beginners on breeding guppies for profit? My tip is watch all the videos. There is a 7-video series on how to do that. Roughly 3 hours worth of tips. Did all of our not books come in yet? Not yet. They are in the United States, but they have not made it to our warehouse yet. Wondering if you do individual consultation through email. I don't. It's not that I wouldn't help you. It's that I like to be able to say that I don't do that so I don't get overwhelmed. We can help you as much as we can through our customer service. I used to do that back in the day, but it got overwhelming very quickly. And so we haven't done that in probably like over 5 years now. And, there'd be scheduling conflicts, but then there'd also just be like, oh my gosh, we're selling more hours than they're in the day. Because, that's actually how I met Zenzo. So Zenzo booked a call with me, or a video call, and he asked me about opening up a pet store in California, and I told him, absolutely do not do it. And it wasn't from a competition standpoint, but just from the career he had at the time, and he was doing a maintenance service business, and I looked at it and I go, from what you're telling me, this makes no sense for you to do this. Just from, I don't think it's going to be a better path for you and your family. And he had owned a motorcycle shop before and all of that, and I gave him all the honest feedback, and he chose to not make one. And then, a couple years later, now he works for us. Wasn't the intention at the time or anything like that, but yeah. So I used to do that in the past. I don't do it anymore, and it became overwhelming. The problem was, even when you start charging a few $100s an hour, I always felt guilty, and they'd be like, "Can you do it at?" You might be on East Coast time, or we had people around the world, and so it's like, can I do it at 2 o'clock in the morning? Like, I guess. And my sleep schedule was getting even worse, and I was scheduling my other stuff I had to do around these appointments. And so I kind of had to back off and just go, it's not that I don't want to help you, and it's not that it's not great money. It's that to be able to do all the things I want to do in the hobby, I can't. And so, if you meet me in person, if I'm at the store and you're at the store, or we're at an event, by all means, ask your questions. I will answer them because I've set that time aside to do that. So yeah, good luck. Reach out to our customer service if you need. Or honestly, you got about a 50-50 shot to get me in the Facebook group. So if you hit me up, you tag me on Facebook in the group, there's like a 50-50 chance I'll be like, oh, I'm just waiting on dinner. Like, I could answer this. But not everyone always wants their stuff out in public, so I get that too. Buddy, my green spot pufferfish, I like it already, has gone through worm meds and is ready for a larger tank. I've had him a month. Is he ready for brackish? Yeah, I think you could do that. Start adding just like a little bit of salt. I think the thing I like to make clear with people, especially with puffers, it's not so much that they need the salt. They do like it. They need all those minerals. And so, if you just naturally have super hard water or anything like that, you don't need the salt nearly as much or the intensity. But if it was me and I had a green spotted puffer, I would probably just start keeping low doses of salt in there, using like the easy brine shrimp salt because it's got all the minerals and everything you want. And I'm real lazy, so I'd be like, yeah, I put like a cup in for my 20 gallons, and then I did a water change, and then I put like a quarter cup in. It's not an exact science because where they come from, the salinity in the water is like changing all the time. They're swimming all about, that kind of stuff, so you don't have to be like, it's got to be dialed in. How is breeding Goodyear? I've got a male and a female Zenotaka Dororei, which I've had those. Back then they were called Eyes and Eye. Since they are critically endangered, I want to be successful. I've only bred Scarlet Batis and never had live bears. Well, you're already above me. I've never bred Scarlet Batis. That's a badge of honor right there. As far as Goodeids go, I find they do best in lower temps, and I just don't put any heaters. And I've had them breed as low in the 50s and as hot as like 7 or like 80-ish. But not, if they get way too hot, it's not good also. But mostly real thick Planet Tank or lots of fake decorations. They'll let those babies go. And, if you look at my Goodeids that I'm breeding, the Trout Goodyeid, Elite and Furcidens, if you look in that 40 breeder, you'll see it's basically just a wall of Vallisneria where the babies can get away and they can feed, and I use an auto feeder. Any update on our expansion? Do you think you'll do a members only soft opening? Hmm, I don't know about that. So that's an intriguing idea I hadn't considered. If maybe we could poll everybody. I'm always terrified that I'm gonna get too big for my britches and be like, yeah, it's a member only event, and then two people show up. I remember it happened one time when I was much smaller as a creator, and I was speaking in California, and it was like a Friday night, and there was a taco place down the road from my hotel, and I had nothing to do. So I was like, hey guys, flash meetup at taco place. And turns out one person showed up, and that was embarrassing because no one wanted to drive there because it was horrible traffic in San Francisco at that time. So ever since then, I'm like shell shocked from, I don't want to like, yeah, we're going to do this members event, because then let's say 4 people show up and everyone's like, this is it? Oh my gosh, what a waste of my time. So if there was enough local members, maybe that makes sense. Yeah, I could see how that would make sense. These are membership milestone chats. That's right. Members get 1 month for free. Or 1 a month for free. Yep. Only after your first month. They did it so that trolls can't sign up. So you can technically sign up, and then you could like do the message, and then you could ask for your money back. So they only let you do it after the first month. So if you're brand new this month, they don't let you do it yet, unfortunately. The forum's acting weird. I'll give it one more shot. Uh-oh, let me take a look. A lot of times this is locally your device. Working great on my end. Logging in right now. I am logged in. No problem on my end. It's been 6 months. I'm loving the membership perks. I just got 3 dwarf neon rainbows from a local partner. Any tips on hatching their eggs? I would use the method I described earlier with the floating tray. Hatching the eggs, in my opinion, for the rainbow, super easy. It's the raising of the fry. They are so tiny. I like to do it in green water. Gary Lang likes to use APR, artificial protein rotifers. So if you buy eggs from him, we'll include a little bit of that. But microscopic food, I find I do both. Or what I would do if I had eggs tomorrow, I would green water, which I happen to have some in my fish room, so I'd use that. And then I would be sprinkling Repashy powder on the surface of the water. They only feed from the surface, by the way. And you want almost no airflow. So that's why the container works really well. Because they sit at the top trying to eat, and even a little bit of bubbles, and they're just like, oh my god, I'm in a tsunami, like it's crazy. So they want very still water, and you just let that food float on the top, and they pick at it. You change that water out once a day, and then eventually, after a couple weeks, I get them on to live baby brine. You might start at the 7-day mark, like let me put a little bit of baby brine in there, but I'm still feeding the powder every day. And then as you see them eating more and more of the brine, you can back off the powder. If you're on the fence about buying plants from Aquarium Co-op, just do it. Have bought lots and not regretted them. Yep, our plants are pretty much the most expensive out there. Well, they're not, but they're not the cheapest by far. But our customer service will beat anybody out there, and usually you get quite a bit of plant for your money. And honestly, we sell far more plants than we can buy. So when people go like, why is your selection getting smaller? Because the farms just can't keep up, and sitting out of stock 98% of the time just makes people angry. We're literally better off not showing it on the website than having people email customer service every week for 26 weeks in a row, just getting more angry. And it's like, we don't own a farm. We're not making the plants. We don't have control. I'm sorry. But we are trying to find some other sources and bring in some new plants, and we're always bobbing and weaving. It's a game of cat and mouse. You might get a little ahead, then you don't, then you do. Let's see here. Who would I consider authorities in Episto care and breeding? Dean, I would put there, and Mike Wise. Is that his name? I'm pretty sure Mike Wise. He's kind of one of the godfathers of the Epistogramma game. Hmm. Are my Aquariumcoop branded power heads adjustable? They are not. We try to keep them ultra simple. It's actually on my to-do list. I need to design an adjuster for it, and then we'll start working with the manufacturer. It's just been low on my list. Not low. I just haven't gotten to it. I've been working on. There's some cool stuff coming out for the sponge filters, so you guys will be excited about that when it finally launches. Um, Two different type of airstone apparatuses we're working on and are in production. Starting up new art and everything for the sponge filter boxes because of the new stuff that is going to be included. What else are we working on? I'm sure there's other stuff that I don't even know off the top of my head. Will most small fish like micro worms, like tetras and pupuffers? Do I still feed them? I don't. Most fish will eat them, but they're really small. It takes a stupid amount of worms to feed like a neon tetra normal size. What's my experience been with TurboStar? I seem to be struggling with persistent nitrites. I've had great luck with it. I honestly I endorse that and Fritzheim 7 because it actually works for me. Which I say that because most of them don't work for me, but those ones did work for me, and I've used them to start like store expansions or fish rooms up before. But I never do one source. I always do multiple sources. So I'll do turbo start, but I'll also have a potted plant that came with the rock wool that should have plenty of bacteria in it also. And so I usually always have at least two sources, and I'm never quick, and I don't monitor it either. So if I put turbo start in and a plant, I'm still gonna let it sit there until I see algae. When I see algae, then I know it's ready for fish. Not 700 arowanas, but some fish. One time I did a whole rack in a fish room that I started up. Every tank got two white clouds, and it was like 14 tanks, and it was something like 8 of them had fry within the first month. So I was raising up tons of babies. Like I didn't purposely do male female. I just two. I'll feed them each day. That'll slowly feed the plants and everything and get this whole rack up and going. What do you plan to do with the business when your time on Earth is done? If I died tomorrow, basically we have it set up that it would go to like a council. The way we have it set up is that if I was to pass away tomorrow, a board of directors would become a thing, and there'd be different votes. Like my silent business partner, my wife would be a part of it, Randy would be a part of it, and there's like a couple others, like some financial advisors and stuff that help us manage some of my estate or whatever. And as long as it's in the best interest of my wife and the fans, because that's or the hobby. It's always been, everyone that would be on that board knows I make decisions every day that financially are terrible, but for the hobby are good. And it's not like world changing, but it's enough where it's like, I think most people don't go, no, give $8,500 to, the Amazon, or not Project Piava, but the Amazon MT Amazon expeditions to help people I don't even know. And like on one hand, from the business, we're looking at it going, that would have helped us launch this other product right here. But I know we'll find a way, whereas I don't always know, like they might not find a way over there for that boat engine, or 1 year we paid for all the medical, like all the prescriptions and everything, like all the medical supplies. So everyone that would be on that panel knows that that would be my wishes, and they would try to do, we spend a lot of time on that actually, is what does it look like if Corey wasn't involved? If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, you still have Irene, you still have Zenzo, still making content, and they'd still be doing it in the same ways. Maybe someone else would pick up the live streams. But yeah, we do a lot of that stuff. You're planning with lawyers and all that kind of stuff. Like, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? What happens? What happens? What happens? And it could just be something as simple as what if I'm incapacitated? What if I go to China and I'm detained? What if I get in a bad car wreck and I lose some of my, the concussion or whatever? I lose some of my ability to think, and I still start making bad decisions. There's things in place that other people can go, hey, we want a study done. Two doctors agree he's not in right mind. For the right now, don't invest all of Aquarium Co-op's money into drag racing. Like we're trying to be my biggest. I got to be honest. It's always for me. It's always the fans and the employees first. I can eat second. I'm eating pretty well, which is good. But I live in fear of one disappointing you guys, because if I disappoint you guys, the byproduct of that is my employees don't have enough work to do. So, I got a lot of mouths to feed in a roundabout way. What does Pete Corey look like? As close as I can tell, uh, Pete Corey is in Hawaii. Well, that's not true. Hawaii or Peru, like nature. If I can get far enough away, whether it's I don't get reception or everyone knows don't talk to me unless the store's on fire, I start resting and sleeping super well, and I come back, not come back, but like 3 days later, I start going, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like, because I can step away from it, like, every day I'm like this. I'm like, how can we make this product better? I'm in it, right? And the minute I can rest up enough, now I'm looking at it from this, and I go, wait, we should do that. It's simple. And that's where I came up with the tote bags when I was in Hawaii. There's a lot of things that if I can rest up, and my team has seen that, the more rested Corey is, the more peak performance Corey is, which most humans are like that, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to go, oh, you're well rested, then you think clearly? Shocking. When can we get the Aquarium Co-op skateboard? I don't know. Maybe someday. If we do it, it'll be like a member thing, and we'll do it because it's a novelty, because shipping skateboards sounds like the best way to lose money. Because I got news for you. I'm not big enough to be like, oh yeah, we printed 10,000 skateboards, and at scale it made sense. So instead, it would be like, oh, it cost us $40 each, and we got to ship them. Like, it costs us $67 just to ship one, huh? Oh, that's gonna be tough. Who would I, and really, I would love to find a way to do collaboration between Aquarium Co-op and Vinny Bond for a skateboard. I sponsored that guy for like a couple months just because I think he's very talented. But yeah, I'm only a passive skateboard nerd these days. I just stocked my newest Planet tank with green neons, and man, I'm in love with them. Any tips with them, please? My biggest tip with the green neons: try to view them at a downward diagonal angle. So we keep them in the store usually at the bottom row of tanks. That's when you really see that green. Otherwise, at eye level, you see more of a blue. If you can get some sunlight in there, that's even another level of like intense color. How's Murphy doing? I think honestly, he might be going blind or some cataracts or something like that. He doesn't have the vision, but he still eats like a champ, and he doesn't look sick, and it's been a long time. So, yeah, I'm sure he's going to enjoy the bigger digs when he gets into the big tank. Let's see. Maybe an in-store only product? Yeah, that's not the worst idea I've heard. An in-store only. We try not to do too many in-store onlys because it leaks, and then so like what else do we have? We have like some CO2 kits. We have that might be the only one these days, but we used to do more in-store only stuff, and eventually it would get shown in like a Facebook group or something, and then our customer service would get hitting up nonstop, like, where do I find it? Why don't you sell it? How dare you? And it would just be like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense. Things like substrate. There's a lot of things, rocks. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, but, um, right now they might in the future. Who knows? Shipping could go down again. Back in my day, when I started shipping, it was literally half the cost it is right now. So that was a way different landscape than it is today, because shipping being or more, by the way, like a 4-foot light, like that's not a 4-footer, but a 4-foot LED light that we sell, if we ship it from us to New York, is literally $42. The shipping of the light is $42. We include that in the price. Like we're not making that much on lights and stuff like that. There's, we've got this much bigger plan to, like, what do we make good money on? I'm trying to think, what do we make good money on? Like a pipette, we do pretty good on. It's got to be, I wonder what the most beneficial product is that we could sell. Easy Green is okay. There's got to be something that's like light and small. I can't think of it, but there's got to be something. Let's see here. But we also sometimes, like, I don't know if we've updated it yet. Let me see. We also don't like to get too far. I look at pricing and stuff a lot. If all of a sudden we start getting a way better deal, I try to give it back to you guys. So, like, the one that's coming, if it's not out already, I'm going to look right now. Yep, it's already out. Good. So one example that you guys might see real time would be the catappa leaves. We used to sell 10 catappa leaves for $7.99. Now we sell 20 for $7.99, and all your local stores will be doing that also. Well, I guess they could sell it for more, but so we worked it out where we could buy in more bulk and that kind of stuff, and the price went down, and so now we're including twice as many, same price. And yeah, so I try not to let things get too far out of whack, but yes, test strips are, the 5-in-1 test strips are good. The ammonia strips, not good. So the stickers are okay. If you're ordering other stuff, stickers are okay. But there are some products where they're like amazing if you're ordering other stuff and terrible if you're not. And then there's also products that are terrible if you're ordering other products and are way better if you're only ordering it. It's a complicated mess. I can't keep angelfish. I've purchased over 30 and every single one has died. I've got a pH of 7.8, 18 GH hardness. Are they sensitive to hard water? Usually not. Are you getting them all from the same store, or you tried different sources? Angelfish, being a cichlid, are usually fairly hardy. Are you losing them in a week or a month? Yeah, most people, I think, would tell you, like, oh, I've had good luck with angels. I'm not sure why you're not having good luck. Decent air stones is needed in the hobby, and a suction cups that don't fall off. Who would only order stickers? When you're doing 15,000 orders a month, you see it all. You see it all. You're like, who paid $5 shipping for one pipette? Like, you shake your head going, what? And it costs us $10 to ship that pipette, by the way. So if you only order a pipette, we lose money, like $3. It's horrible. But it's few and far between. Am I hard to work for? Probably. I would say so. I think it's easier. I think I'm better off to say yes than no. Because if I say yes and all my employees agree, that's fine. If I say, no, I'm super easy to work for, it's great. It's like, we give ice cream out, it's rainbows everywhere. And then all my staff are going, he's lying. But to be fair, I don't expect anyone to do something that I won't do. And so if you're cleaning the toilet, guess what? Corey cleans the toilet. Managers clean the toilet. Everybody, we've had to reprimand people for not doing it. even management, where it's like, no, 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 you have duties, but no one is above the basic duties. Like that's just the way this company works. And so a cargo container will come in next month or next week. I'll be out there helping. It's grunt work. But the more, in my opinion, the more owners and management and everything are in the day-to-day grind, the more or the easier it is to go, hey, I need you to do this. And if they've seen you do it before, they know it's not like, no, 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 it's not that he won't do it. It's that he's working on something else. I will say the hardest thing is from an outside looking in as an employee, you won't see all the R&D to launch new products. You won't, you're probably burnt out of Aquarium Co-ops. You're not watching the live streams. You're not watching, Corey's got to make videos, and there's member videos, and there's this, and there's that. And so, I don't do the same jobs as a lot of people, but I have done them all. So I do understand them of like, I used to catch fish. I used to sell fish. I used to, it used to be my wife and I packing your orders and shipping them out way back when it was, oh, we got 3 orders today, right? And so as we've scaled and scaled and scaled and scaled, I'm not as fluent as someone would be on the line right now, but like 2 years ago, is it 2 years? Maybe a year and a half ago, when we had a bad snowstorm, it was myself, I think it was me, Randy, Angelica, our accountant, and like 2 employees because a bunch of people called out because of snow. So, I had to learn the system, and we've got lots of process documents, so it worked. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's super easy to work for us, but I think we do a good job of trying to support our employees. At least I'll say this, it's the best that I think I can do. Doesn't mean we're the best, but I'm now 40 years old. My birthday happened, and as a 40-year-old CEO, I'm trying my hardest. And I think minimum wage, or not minimum wage, the minimum we start people now is $22.56, I think. That's where we're at right now, plus full benefits and all of that. So it's. Would I love to be able to get higher? Sure. We need a lot more to happen before, we're doing everything. We've all cleaned toilets. It's still my number one. I'm always judging the bathrooms, employee bathrooms, our bathrooms, because it's the easiest thing that people judge businesses on. Like, you just don't want a dirty bathroom. No one wants to use a dirty bathroom, and, we need to stay on top of it. Evergrow Merdania? I don't know what that is. What is the limit on conservation status, as in what can be traded and what not traded? I think you'd have to look state by state for regulations. Like, we can't have crayfish and piranhas and some of that, where we can have dojo loaches, but one state to the south, Oregon, can't have dojo loaches, but they can have piranhas. So I think it's just state by state, and you got to look them up. I don't think there's an easier way, really. Do you need heaters in a tropical location? Depending on how tropical, I would say probably not, but, I run my fish a little differently. I'd love to see you come up with airline tubing that doesn't harden. It's going to be hard. How things like dry out with air? When you're pumping air through something, it's a natural thing you're fighting against. I would clean toilets for 22 an hour. We try to, and it's like, it's not like you're cleaning toilets all day long. The way we do it, and so if we have a crew of 13, or no, at the warehouse, it's probably now like 15 if you include different management people and stuff. You would only clean toilets once every 15 weeks. And so in that building we have we have 3. We have 3 bathrooms. So once every 15 weeks, you clean 3 bathrooms. And because they're done every week, they're not bad. Like it's not like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? It's like, yeah, you maintenance it, and we take out the garbage out of all those bathrooms every single day. Like we're making sure everything's sanitary, and I'll say this. In my opinion, warehouse bathrooms are a lot easier than the retail store bathrooms. There are people that will just it's like a bomb went off in the retail store sometimes. Clogged toilets, didn't make it into the toilet. Like, oh my gosh. So I've had to deal with plenty of that myself, and so is other people there, and no one enjoys it. It's like, oh my, okay, get the gloves, and there's a mask and cleaning products, and oh, jeez. Let's see. Any thoughts on new legislation in Florida? I keep seeing companies advocating against it. I don't have any thoughts on it. There's literally legislation. Uh, wait, is Joel older than me? Oh yeah, you are older than me. Like even though your birthday is similar to mine, you are just older. Um, as far as legislation goes, I'm privy to legislation all the time. Every day there's like, hey, there's a new measure that we would love you to spend all your time advocating for. And it's not that things aren't important, it's that I can't lobby against, I can't research everything. And in general, we've got the same things happening fairly often of like, all the meds are going to be banned, all the fish are going to be banned, all the meds are going to be banned, all the fish are going to be banned, all the meds are going to be banned, all the fish are going to be banned. And that people come in the hobby and they go, right? So on average, people get in the hobby, stay in for a couple years and get out. But if you're just getting in for a year and now all of a sudden you're like, oh man, they're going to ban everything. It's like, this is the 17th rodeo I've seen. And there's always like, this could be the year they pass it. And that is true. And in the past, I have donated to the lawyers that help fight against that. However, as you learn more and more about some of this stuff, I don't always disagree. So sometimes it's like, honestly, the way they're collecting these yellow tangs, we probably shouldn't allow that. Oh, but if they pass that, they're going to ban all fish. Like, yeah, they might, but I don't agree with using cyanide to collect yellow tangs, so maybe we need to find a common ground. And no one ever wants, because it always gets political, and people are like, you give them an inch, they take a mile. And it's like, you're right. And you give the people using cyanide an inch, and they take a mile, and pretty soon it's terrible, right? So I've always maintained anyone who wants to be bad is going to be bad on either side of anything. And I try to go, well, I'll try to do what I can do. I'll try to support what I like to support. That's how I'll live my life. Hopefully other people will do the same things. So much fish tube drama happened while you're gone. Oh, I was very aware of it. Like, a lot of these people are my friends, right? And you just see it and you're like, what is going on? I don't understand, like, the levels in which fish nerds are dueling. That's what I'm calling it because it's so nerdy. They're dueling. Of like, no, my way is the best way to keep the fish alive. When it's like people are battling for the best way to make a cheeseburger instead of battling to make the best cheeseburger on their barbecue at home on a summer afternoon by themselves for their family. Like, that's the goal, right? The goal is you enjoy what you're doing, and that should be everyone's goal. So whether you want to do it with glowfish, you want to do it with a natural tank, you want to do it with 72 FX5s, I don't care. If you're enjoying it, because maybe I'm the only guy willing to say, I don't know, but I've been at a lot of different levels, from absolute beginner to where I am today, to signed copy of Dr. Wallstad's book, which would be a very natural way to do it, no filtration, using sunlight. She did recommend using an air stone. I went through that phase, went through planted phases, became a master aquaculturist. I bred African cichlids and worked in an African cichlid store with 300 tanks to make a living. If I didn't breed fish, I didn't make enough money to live. I've been through all of that. I've been through building several fish rooms for calculating, going, can I afford to buy a sponge filter? What is the cheapest way to do this? And so when I built a store, I started out with curlicue light bulbs because that's what I could afford. And the minute I could afford more, I saw the benefits of getting better lights and things like that. And the benefits aren't what you think. Yeah, the fish look better, but you identify illness faster, right? And I still believe, for the way I keep fish, I like to change water. because I like to keep them denser. I like to know that I can go out of town. There's so many things. Everyone's got a different life. And so, the nerd battles between like, no, you must be closer to my way of life. It's like, I don't know that anyone's asking that question. If you are, you can go watch those people. Like, I don't watch Formula One race car drivers on learning how to go 4 hours and then pee in your pants because I don't race cars, right? But if I did, guess what? I'd be watching that, and I'd be in the camp of like, yeah, I find if you pee at 3 hours, it stays warm enough, you don't get the shivers on hour 5 of the race. So I don't know. There's plenty of stuff to get irritated about in the world, and if it's the way that you keep your fish tank is keeping me up at night, we've gone way off track. There are way bigger things in the world that I would spend time thinking about and worrying about than the way you're going to keep your fish tank. I will help you as I can, but, let's see. I learned quick that fish groups on Facebook were really prone to drama. They just end up being cliques is what usually happens. And so, if the Aquarium Co-op group, if we had, let's say we had 50 people that all loved African cichlids and we're the moderators, over time that's going to become an African cichlid group because we're going to agree with African cichlid people. And, anytime there's like a 50-50 decision, you usually like, oh, well, that person's not right. This person is right. And, so it just gets really cliquey and I try my clique, if there is one, is trying to be as open as possible. We get chastised all the time of like, but they're just going to kill their fish. You could stop that. Like, you could, but, you could just let them find out too. Where's Candy? Candy's in a meeting. She has meetings during this time, during the week. We have, her, and she's got 2 part-time customer service people under her. And we really needed to focus on creating documents and training people up and all of that to make sure we uphold the duties to you guys. Another 5 gifted memberships from Killer Kitty. You're too kind. Too kind. Dan Hessler winning one. Welcome back. I think you've been one before. What's my opinion on prime and stability for in-fish cycling? I've been running our new tank for almost 4 months. Finally about there, but constant smell. Does it smell like when it rains you can smell dirt? That's what an aquarium is supposed to smell like. Or are you saying like a lot, like you can smell ammonia sometimes too? But in general, I like those products. I'm not in love with the company, but I do like those products. They have worked for me in the past. I still sell Prime because it's very popular. But yeah, I don't see any, ooh, you better watch out. I think, yeah, you're doing the right things. If you can get a live plant, if you got some algae growing, that's good. I love some algae growing. When some algae grows, you know that something's going on in there. And I like visual cues for people because a lot of people get lost in the chemistry and all that. But if you're like, hey, you got algae, that's a good thing right now. Right? Let's see. Do you ship hard goods to APOs? We used to a long time ago, but they ended up, we looked at the stats and it was like 40% were a nightmare scenario, so we do not anymore. It's a sulfur-like smell, still no algae. The sulfur smell usually comes from Prime, so you might be, like if you're using the Prime to keep the ammonia at bay, I would recommend not doing that. Well, I need to back up a step or two there. If you have fish in right now, you got to keep the ammonia at the same level, but I would recommend looking into some of the ways we cycle with plants and stuff like that. And what I would recommend is stop feeding your fish. A lot of the times you're new to a hobby and you're like, I like feeding them, I don't want them to starve to death. But if you just stop feeding, they no longer create ammonia. You don't have to dose Prime to keep that ammonia at bay. And basically, I recommend stop feeding, test for ammonia. If it's at 0.5 or lower, leave it and don't feed until it's been 1 week or the tank has digested all of it and it now shows 0 ammonia. Then you could go, oh, let's try feeding once a week. And if that goes good, next week feed twice a week. And if that goes good, next week feed 3 times a week. Keep spreading it out. And eventually you'll be up to, oh, it's been 7 weeks, I feed 7 times a week. And it's a very slow step up. Where when you go from, my tank wasn't cycled or seasoned, I prefer the term seasoned, to I've got fish I'm feeding 7 times a week, that can be overwhelming until it catches up. And so I like to give it some breathing room. What do I use to test ammonia? I use our test strips. I like it quick and easy. The easier it is, the more often I'm willing to do it. Well, I'll be going to the Sacramento, California fin dig in June. Nope, in June, part of June, I'm still in China, and then I host someone from Singapore, Benete. He'll be here for a few days, so I got to get my fish room looking a little better. It's looking rough after being gone. How much longer on the stream? About 34 minutes. 34 more minutes of nails on a chalkboard. For those of you at home listening on the podcast, it's unbearable. And now I got dogs barking outside. Not even my own dogs. But I got the window open because it's... Let me look at the imaginary thermometer here. It's 142 degrees in here. Oof. Crazy. How come there's no tanks in the stream room? Because it's up like 2 flights of stairs. And there's no water up here. And if there's anything I need in my life, it's actually to tear aquariums down. I need less. Less is more. I'm still working on the idea, but I have this strong belief that an optimal aquarium gets an hour of attention a week. That's the number. I mean, you could slide it a bit one way or another, but I think that, that includes feeding every day, but you just need, I think, an hour a week per tank. And so I've got like 18 tanks. I'm not spending 18 hours a week. And so if I can get down, my tanks would look better. I would enjoy them more. And I wouldn't constantly feel like, oh, I'm chasing the next problem, right? If you got 18 tanks and one's always having an algae bloom, you're always fighting algae. Where if you only have 8 tanks and, you're not fighting algae, you're like, oh, I'm just enjoying them right now. My bro swears by your co-op fertilizer, Corey. Good, I'm glad. I swear by it too. I basically have made my living off the back of doing what everyone said was impossible. That might have been the first challenge of the industry that worked out in my favor and then led to, I'm going to make another bold claim and in 5 years I might pull it off. We finally, hashtag Fluval tripping, made our own light and we still have a few products left, but they're not long for the world. Like, to this day, we still, we make the jokes. It's like, of course Fluval's out right now. Like, are you joking me? Like, are they trying to make sure we never buy any product from them ever again? Like, yeah. Any tips on how to safely switch substrates in an established tank? Here's my move, right? So get yourself like a margarine container or like a sour cream container. You know what I'm talking about? Little round dealy bob. And you're going to cut the bottom out. And then you're going to cut it this way. So now you've made like this long strip of plastic. You're then going to put that in to your aquarium. Hopefully it sticks up above the substrate some. You put that in there. And from that line, I do about a third at a time. I will use a gravel vac without the tube, just the actual tube. And I will a lot of times siphon that out, or I will use the Aquariumcoop specimen container and fill it up, pour out the water, take it out that way. And then I use the container, fill the new substrate in, lower it in slowly, let it fill with water at the top, then move it down and kind of dump it in. And I like to reinforce that divider I made. So reinforce that side first. Then what you can do, another week later, it's been another week, right? You've had Taco Tuesday, used a whole container of sour cream, I'm sure of it. Even if you only had one taco, it's, you use a whole tub of sour cream, you have to. You make another divider. Put that divider in, get all that center out, fill it up with the new substrate, take out the divider or whatever one you started from, now you got 2/3 of the new substrate, 1/3 of the non-new substrate. A week later, another taco, another 16-ounce thing of sour cream, and you're done. You actually don't need the third divider, but it's a reason to eat tacos. Tell whoever's cooking your family, like, I need another one. Let's see. I use a solo cup to swap substrate. Sure. I like the specimen containers because they have the rounded square corners, so it really gets it. So one of the reasons I really like it that way, and it's not square, it's a little bit rounded, because you have the silicone bead on all the edges. You want that thing. So like if this is a kind of it's kind of awesome actually. If this is your tank, like glass here and glass here, you're gonna have silicone that's the web of my thumb right here. That silicone is what's holding those panels together. You need something that can come in here that's kind of that curvature. So it really helps, just get a lot of the substrate. And then at the very little, if you're worried about it, that's when I siphon up the last few, little dollops. Have I ever used Chat GPT? Only, I've watched other people use it, and I've watched it be so inaccurate. Like, I think if you ask GPT what scandal is Aquariumcoop a part of, it comes up with all this craziness that is just 100% not true. They're like, according to the legal filings, like, what legal filing? This has never happened. So, but it's interesting what it can do. People are writing a lot of blog articles about fish with it and doing stuff, and it's a very powerful tool. But, the scary part was it presented the information in a way that would be completely believable unless you own the company and knew 100% that it was not correct. But it presented it in such a way that if you weren't close-knit, you would believe it. So that's what I didn't like about it. I was like, ooh, that's a very dangerous thing to have like that. Let's see. How would you treat municipal chlorine for auto water change in a system in a fish room? Kyle, the way I would do it is if you go back to some of my oldest fish room videos, I had a 600-gallon water storage tank that I bought from a company that makes water storage tanks. And I did my own float valve. I used a toilet bowl thing, right? Float valve. And what I did was I put air stones in it, and I put heaters in it, and I'd have it bubbling all the time. And I hooked up the water change system to a Casa outlet, and I could be like, turn it on, and it would pump water to all my tanks. And as that thing would go down, it started letting some water in. And that worked out pretty well. So I remember, because I was like, I don't want the cold water going in. So what I did is I also put the incoming water on a timer. So what would happen is in the morning, like let's say it's noon or whatever, I would let it do all the water changing until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I would set the other timer to put the water in at like 8 p.m. That way I could do anything I wanted in my fish room, and I'd have the right temperature water, fully aerated, and no chlorine, because chlorine gets gassed off by the aeration. Then at 8 p.m., fill it to the top until that thing goes and shuts it off. Then that thing still... And so I think I set it for like, let water go into this tote thingy for an hour. And it might only have needed 20 minutes, and then it was shut off anyway. Then that shuts off. That's how I managed it, and it worked out really well for me. We need to start a dog rescue. Don't get my wife started. She'll do it. The Chihuahua farm, as we call it. I haven't got a dachshund yet. I wish. Let's see here. How much soil versus sand cap should I put in a 9-gallon Fluval Flex? I'm hoping to put Coolie Loaches or Corridors in there. I would use 1/4 inch of soil and like 2 inches of substrate. A little amount of dirt goes so far. In my testing, dirt would last years and years and years, and more was not better. It led to more gas issues, more messy aquarium when I rearrange plants. that very bottom layer was so much better for me. How do I get how do I get thick mineral buildup on the outside of my aquarium? Maybe splash from bubbles popping? Would be my guess. Have I ever kept a crocodile toothpick fish? Only in the store. Little micro predator. Eats lots of Daphnia and baby brine shrimp. Dare we say fish rescue? Never. I'll never open up a fish rescue. I'll probably never. Honestly, that's like the critique of fish rescues is the same critique on why we don't open up a dog rescue. Because I know I'll just end up owning 42 chihuahuas and be the world's worst actual rehome and find them good homes. I'll just be a chihuahua hoarder because we'll do our best, but 42 animals under one care is never as good as 42 people trying their hardest, right? It's like the aquariums. If each of those dogs needs at least an hour a week, and you got 42, that's 42 hours of dogs. Where if I have one dog and I give it 42 hours, now I got the happiest dog on the planet. Any tips for removing green hair algae? I like some Siamese algae eaters or some flagfish. You could also check out our advice center and read all about that algae and different ways we like to get rid of it. Pleco wafers work well in the Aquariumcoop heater? Definitely not. They would work terrible. Don't recommend. Would not do. Have you ever thought about making an Aquariumcoop all-in-one system? I have. Mine would drastically be different than what I see on the market. Like I wouldn't do a false wall back and all of that. But yes, I have thought about it. I would want to incorporate stupid good lights. Like my all-in-ones would be closer to like a BioCube, where you're like, that thing's $700. But it would be awesome and actually have all the pieces you want from the get-go and not be like, too many companies start with how cheap can we make this? And they could always fill in with all the parts. In my opinion, people want to buy an all-in-one because they want all the choices taken out and their thought is like, I just want to buy it right from the first time. It's kind of like buying a car. You don't go buy a brand new car going, well, you know, I'll put in the AC ventilated seats later. Like, no, you won't. You'll never do it. And so you want to buy the features you want from the get-go, and that's the way I would do it. My kit would be like, Corey's kit's stupid expensive. What an idiot. Yep, it would be, but it would include our light. It would have great filtration. It would have a pre-filter sponge built in. It would have, you know, all the things that I think would really help people start out well. It include the heater. You know, so many kits don't include all those things because they're like, well, technically, someone might just want a goldfish and you could keep the price lower. Like, yeah, you could, but when 98% of them are going to tropical fish, you're just, you know, it's a race to the bottom. And I think the people that eventually find us, they appreciate that we're not the cheapest, but we're trying to save you money long term. So I don't want to sell you a kit with a light that sucks, and then you got to buy a different light anyway, and you wasted $20 of the kit went to that light that was bad. I don't want you to have that experience. I want you to save that $20 and get a good light from the get-go. Like, it's mind-blowing to me that Fluval has not made it easy to add more lights to your Fluval Flexes. That is such a just give me from the money. Everybody that owns a Fluval Flex is like, oh, I would for sure add one or two more strips because it's okay-ish light, but you would love more light. Instead, you're like, do I go with no top now? And instead, I gotta use like an Aquariumcoop light or a Haiger light or whatever. When the reality and the thing is, the mind-blowing thing is, it's there. You could clip it in. Like, it's already in the top. They just don't sell the... Yeah, the list is never ending for the time that people piss me off with when it comes to companies. Originally, they marketed it like they were going to sell the lights, and I was all about it. And then they never sold the lights. And that really pissed me off. All right. If you buy the sponge, the air pump, the tubing, the light, the only thing you would need is a tank and you're set. Yeah, we've pretty much done that where we're including everything, but we don't have a good, it's in a box, you pull it off a shelf, you don't know anything, you go home, you follow the instructions, watch the video, and like, I'm having success. It's a big ask, by the way, because I think you're held to a higher standard when it's that kid. Because that kid, imagine like, oh, this is your first aquarium you're ever going to own. You really got to spell things out. And I personally, my first FX5 I ever got, I watched the DVD they used to include. Now I get it, not a lot of people have DVDs anymore, but I feel like they could go way more above and beyond to really get that video in front of a new FX4 or 5 or 6 owner and going, okay, let me learn about this. Let me watch a 30-minute video that I fully understand how the back flushing works. I fully understand why they chose this tubing. I understand all of these things. And, so and I'll be the first to admit, we don't have that on all of our products, but we're also not giant mega corporations like API and Fluval and that kind of stuff. So, but if I do an all-in-one, I do want to make it so it's just like, oh, I don't have to interact with customer service. It was very easy to digest and get started and get off on the right foot. Yeah, don't forget about Plants and Easy Green. We're making some graphics right now, and our slogan that I came up with is, your live planted aquarium could be as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, Aquariumcoop fertilizers. 2, the easy aquarium plant LED. And 3, live plants. And we want that so we can share it on social media and we can put it in stores, because it really is that easy. If you just use our fertilizers and our light, you don't have to use our plants, but you will have moderate success at least. Like that's the way it's been designed. So, I watch so many people struggle where they're like, I just bought Scarlet Temple and I'm using the light bulb from 6 houses down to try and light it. And it's like, oh, that's not going to work, or I've got this half working light on Amazon because it shorted out, but it works. Have you picked out any native plants for your landscape? My wife's been picking out most of it, and this is no joke, I literally put in an order for 600 ferns. I love ferns. And I just, whenever we go camping, stuff like that, you see a bunch of native ferns in the Northwest, and that's what forest is. And we're trying, like the company we're working with, they're enjoying us because we're actually trying to bring it way more back towards native and stuff and not just look pretty. So we want deer and rabbits and rats and the bald eagles and all of that to be interacting in our yard so we can observe nature. And so yeah, we've been geeking out on it. And Joel, he's got a friend, or Vicky, his significant other, has a friend who's getting rid of 40 ferns. So we're like, we want those ferns. We need more ferns. Love it. And we got some trees and some other stuff. Like, I don't know, Katie would know much better of like, oh, that's the blah, blah berry. And that's this thing, So I think we planted some currants. But we're trying to make sure all of it is non-invasive to Washington State. Most of it is native, and some of it is not native, but not invasive. Are there koi in our pond still? Not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, they all became bald eagle food, which is kind of sad. I'm hoping to, reclaim a lot of the space around it and maybe introduce something that could breed and continually feed the birds. I would love to watch that ecosystem kind of go and be self-sustaining. Not so much with the $500 koi or anything like that. More like, oh, look, some goldfish bread or, white clouds or something that, maybe I need to do something that lives a little lower. Like I thought about, like, what about cherry shrimp? They could eat thousands of cherry shrimp, and there'd probably be enough down in the weeds that they could still reproduce every year. So I don't want to have to stock it every year. Why are my tanks emptying water so fast? I don't know. The higher it is off the ground, the faster the funnel or the siphons work. I've got a pair of albino bristlenose that are producing a mix of albino and normal, and longfin and shortfin. Pretty awesome to get 4 styles out of a single parent. Crazy how the genes work. Yep, you can definitely get a kaleidoscope coming out of those things. Tease a date for the next merch drop. I'm looking forward to repping at Aquashella. I don't know that we have any more in the works. I don't know if I put the kibosh, but nothing was really like selling super well. And so it's kind of like, yeah, we could do some. We got to sell through some. Um, the problem was we took the decision tree out of my hands. So it was like, yeah, you can do some merch if I don't have to be involved. And then when I wasn't involved, like it wasn't the way I would do things. Like, I would have done this in a different material, or I would have done this a little different, or a little different. And so because I wasn't the guy that invented the thing, I was never as bought in, and so it didn't sell as well. And so, and my time being like, oh, I can work on the thing that makes this product better, or I could make a new shirt or a new thing. So I'm sure we'll release more. I just don't have a date for you. Mm. Store expansion. Yeah, I never. When someone asked for the store expansion update, I focused on the meetup part, not the expansion part. Um, yeah, still cruising along. We leveled Murphy's new tank last time we were there. We worked on the beta systems. We worked on cord management and everything for the new rack. It's what's cool about this build, I think, is it's like Aquarium 2.0. The first time we built, we had no money. Not no money, but like very limited resources. This time, we've been doing it over a long period of time. We're like month 16 or something building. And because of that, we've been able to put lots of resources towards it. So you've got Joel working full time, which is great. You've got Dean and I going in, doing some of the more intricate stuff. We've been ordering parts, we've been doing all these things, and I think what's going to come out is super awesome and a way better like flow, and we're going to be able to have 5 times as many people in the store if we want, and we're going to have over twice as many tanks, but way more gallonage. Because each tank we put in, so like we put in, it's something like, I think it's 45 tanks on the wall, but they're all custom made in a weird shape, kind of like our warehouse, like 40 breeders. Whereas like the other wall is 43 tanks, but it's or 42 tanks, but they're all 20 gallons. And so the gallonage is going way up. We put in a bunch of ponds for stuff, and that's like they're all plumbed right now. We're wiring up the waterproof protected outlets and everything so we can run the lights on them. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. I think if you were to go to the store today, you'd see that more tint is up on the windows. So we're starting to get the windows tinted for opening. We're not like super close to opening. There's still a lot. Like I think this week, towards the end of the week, they're mocking up the checkout counter, and I'm going to make sure it's what I want, because we want to make sure that we can check out like 4 to 6 groups of people at a time. Where right now it's like 2, maybe 3 in the store. And so we want to make sure, like, is the flow going to work right? Is the table going to be big enough to have 4 to 6 people bagging fish? What does that look like? So there's a lot of things we're trying to improve upon, and not just like it would have been super easy to be like, look, we're just bigger, but is it bigger and better? That took a lot, and so we're getting expertise from Joel. Joel's got a lot of expertise. On the one side, we had one water heater. This side, we've got dedicated water heaters to every row of tanks. So we put in 2 additional water heaters or hybrid heaters, which is cool, or water heaters, and put in multiple commercial level dehumidifiers and just all of these little things that we couldn't afford / too hard to put in as an afterthought. We're doing it from the beginning, and yeah, so I'm hoping that and like the flooring that I have in my fish room, we bought enough to redo the store and the expansion. So all gym flooring is going to go in, which means even more anti-slip. It'll be less hard on all the employees' feet. That's the thing I'm really looking forward to. Is right now we have concrete with just commercial carpet over it. There's no pad or anything, right? So it's hard on your feet. But that 5/8 inch thick rubber gonna make it, not as bad for the employees walking around all day. So, and that just the flooring was like 12 grand. It's brutal. But, everything comes in stages, and to do that, we were, before we lay the flooring, we want to do painting. And before we can do the flooring also, we got to level the floor. This is a building that from like 1941 that's had a billion different tenants, and they've all done things to it. We need to reset it to get it to the Aquarium Co-op level, and that just takes a lot. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say I guarantee, but it appears no one has ever worked on that floor, like leveling and stuff before, and you need to when you're putting in aquariums, and you don't want people tripping and stubbing their toe and all of that. So, it's been a long project that's still got more time to go, but it's going to be great when it's done. And what's good is the first store lasted us 10 years, right? And we've taken all the knowledge we've learned in the 10 years. And so, the old things that controlled the water system, we already upgraded them to the same system I use in my fish room. That's the Bluetooth system that can be controlled from anywhere in the world. And that's what's going in on the new side too. And so, even though we're doing the store expansion, we're also gearing up to fix lots of parts of the current store. So, like one example would be the betta system that we have. They were running off sumps, and we upgraded the tank size. We've done all these things, but the next level is we're actually making them so they all automatically change water. So they'll be just like our big tanks where they change water every day. We're going to do that on bettas. So now the bettas won't share water with any other betta. It'll be, we don't like sharing water because you can spread illness. So each betta will have its own tank on its own water system that will change water a few times a day, every day, and completely controllable, on schedule, and that will be just even another level up for them, which will be good, I think. So it'll also be quieter. If you go into the store, it's like, what's all that dripping sound? It's all the bettas. Well, if that's only happening for 5 minutes or 10 minutes 4 times a day, it'll be much more quieter and serene in the store. So, but yeah, it takes effort to do all of that. We're also redoing all of the lighting on the bettas. We're going to try and wire up all Aquarium Co-op lights because some of the lights have started to fail because they weren't proper waterproof or highly water resistant lights that were in the system to begin with. So, all right. Any tips on growing my pink flamingos? I've got root tabs, and it gets about 10 hours of light, medium to high. I don't remember how many clicks on the co-op light. If it's like getting it more pink, more light helps that a little bit. If it's growing faster, crypts are just a slow grower. So there's no real secret. That's why they're so expensive, and we can never get enough of that plant. It's because there's, even professionals, like, all I have to do is grow this plant, prints money. They can't even grow it fast. So it's one of those just kind of low and slow type of things. Like, yep, it's, you can't mass produce it for whatever reason. It just can't be done. No one's been able to pull it off. Why did I name it Aquarium Co-op? Because I'm a fool, and I chose a poor name. Originally, the vision I had was buy fish from local breeders and local products. We used to have more local made fish foods and shrimp foods and things like that. And so that was the co-op feel. We have, in the Northwest, we have a lot of co-op grocery stores and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I want that vibe, and just to really have the kind of quality and the health and all of that. And so we call ourselves Aquarium Co-op, and which was completely legal at the time. Now is illegal. You can't be a co-op without being an actual legal co-op. That being said, if I could just wave a wand and all of the stuff we've done just changes to a new name, even if it was Corey's Aquariums, I would do it because we get calls all the time and everyone thinks that we're a preschool co-op. And so the phone rings all the time, like, when can I get my kid in, blah, blah, blah. And so clearly Aquarium Co-op was not good marketing because it's bringing completely the wrong line of people. So that's why we started it that way. All right. I appreciate the co-op fulfilling the 80-20 rule for me. I share your disorder of obsessing over products. Knowing you already did helps my brain. Yep. I keep flirting with finding a way to let you guys know, like, this is the world's best drink holder. It lasts far longer. It's easier to use than this thing. I tried out way too many of them. I now have like 4 of these in my house because they're awesome. Same with, I found like the world's best travel cord. Zenzo got one. He's loving it. And because I don't know. I'm lucky that I can afford to do it, but I know the latest one I wanted to share with you guys, but I've only had it for a few days, but believe it or not, I know you're gonna be like, that's impossible. I believe I have the world's best garden faucet timer. I know that seems impossible because all of them suck. I've been through so many of those things over the last 20 years, and they all either leak or go bad after a season or like whatever the problem is. And I was like, there's gotta be something. So I ordered a system and it sucked. It couldn't connect to 5 gigahertz, which that was bad. And then, so I got this one and it's really good. It's kind of expensive, but it actually uses your Wi-Fi network, which that doesn't seem so revolutionary, but so many of these things, they want you to plug in a little broadcast system that goes about, a foot and a half before it drops off into oblivion and never connects again. And the fact that I can use the infrastructure of both my buildings, broadcasting the Wi-Fi, they're actually working like clockwork and it's super good. So if it keeps working out well as it has been for these past few days, I'm thinking about maybe sharing some of the stuff as like member updates or something. Not videos, but like a post and be like, hey, I don't even make money on this thing, but it's really good. If you're like me and has tried every $27 timer out there and they've all been terrible. Yeah. What is this? This is, I think Thermos makes it. Let me see. Yeah, Thermos. You buy it on Amazon, it's like 12 or 13 bucks, and it's just super easy. Like this ring style at the top. This is the magic. And they're dual walled. Like it stays so cold for so many hours. And it's in and out real easy. Whereas this one was 25 bucks that I bought at a grocery store. So this one's got too much wiggle room in there. So it doesn't insulate as well. And what you're supposed to do, which ain't nobody doing this, you're supposed to come take this ring off and put the ring on it every time. And then guess what? When you're done drinking, you're supposed to peel this bad boy off, take it out. Where there it goes. Boom. Like they've actually perfected it. Like this is peak performance right here, and it's like 12 bucks. It's amazing. Buy them. They're good. All right. Is that a cooler back there? That one? That is a cooler bag. You can buy them on our website. That's right. Save 5% if you're a member. Ooh, that's nice and cool. James Holbrook, sorry I'm so late. Don't worry, we'll write you a pass. You can make a page of the best underrated aquarium things. I don't know if I can. I feel like, so I'm always afraid whenever I'm going to build any list about aquarium stuff because it just brings out the trolls. So like, Corey, what's the best aquarium fertilizer? Easy Green? Because if I didn't believe this was the best, I would change it and make it the best. You could be like, well, what's the best sponge filter? Our sponge filter. What about it would have to be things that we don't do yet, and that's a pretty small list. Like we don't do it all, but And usually I have even if you pick something like saltwater protein skimmers, I'd go through the gamut and I'd be like, yeah, this is the best one, but it sucks. It should do this, 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 and this, and I should just build a better one. And it's not that I understand physics or anything better. I just literally go, but it's $6 more and you could solve the problem? Why wouldn't you do that? And companies just go, it sells. We don't need to change it. And I was like, what? Here, let me find you a link to that thermos cooler, because... Oh, wait. Are you looking for... like if you... Let me see if... tote bag. So our cooler, we call it the tote bag. Let me see... Why is it not showing up? Let me go to merch. It might be members only. We might be selling members only. No, it's right here. I'll put the link. So our insulated bag going in right now. The thermos thing, I'll look that up real quick too. Thermos, drink cooler. And this is not an affiliate link, so I won't make any money. Don't worry. Right here, 1240. 11,000 reviews of perfection. I get it in the normal stainless steel. I don't know about this charcoal or this white version, but the stainless steel has been treating me right. I make nothing off it, but you'll enjoy a cool beverage for many hours. It's good. Thanks for answering me on the Facebook group the other day. Every day I try to answer a few questions. Some days I got a lot of time to kill. Some days I don't got much time to kill. Either way, if no one answers something, I try to answer it. If like, oh, there's 37, if there's 37 comments already, then I probably let it, it's probably covered. So, let's see here. I don't know what it is about Corey's lives. I can't shut it down or I'll miss valuable intel. Well, you never know. It could be fish or it could be a game-changing apparatus that's not fish-related at all. For some reason, I'm always so impressed. I'm like, this is a product that I don't think can get better. Someone should be recognized for making this so good. I'll never know them, but they've done a great job here. Because so often I'm just disappointed of like, why wouldn't you? This thing breaks. Why wouldn't you make it better? Which I fully admit, our stuff breaks too. Like our pump heads, when everyone bought hand sanitizer and we couldn't get the right pump heads, we had apparently kind of crappy pump heads on our Easy Green, which we are swapping. That being said, to this day, I've still never broke an Aquariumcoop pump head on Easy Green. I know lots of people have. I just never have. And I've tried. So I don't know. I must squeeze the bottle in a different way. Any plans 2024 to travel to Asia? I don't know yet. 2024, I kind of want to hit Singapore. I kind of want to hit, I wouldn't mind Thailand and India as well, but I don't know how much I'm traveling. I'm still trying to keep home base for grandma, work on my yard, work on my aquariums, and yeah. Oh, the insulated tote bag cooler is under members only? Is it? How come I can see it on merch? Let me log out. Because it shows up on merch too. But let me log out and make sure that log out. Because I'm a member of my own thing. How's that for full of myself? I'm a member for my own channel. No, I can still see it on the merch. So you should be able to buy it either way. Although, I will say, we have no description. Is that true? Let me see if this thing's terrible. On the fly, we'll evaluate if I'm terrible at my job or not. Thought we had dimensions at least. Yeah, so it's a display bug, because we do have all that stuff. It's not displaying. Why is it always something? Why? Yeah, weird. Members only for Dan as well. That's... Oh, wait. I'm still quasi-logged in. I hit log out. Let me try again. I'm a liar. I might be a liar. It's true. It is members only. I thought we might have moved it out of members only, but instead I reduced the price. Because they cost over $20 to ship. So we lose money on each one we sell. But I reduced the price because in the store, in the retail store, if you walk in, they're just $9.99. And Renee has me laughing. Not only am I a member, I'm the owner. I'm pretty sure I've heard way too many like sales pitch infomercials. Not only am I a member, I'm also the... So yeah, you'll have to... I did reduce the price to... Let me log back in here. I think I reduced it by another $5 is what I did. Oh no, I'm going to get the code. That's going to be a pain while I'm live to log back in. Oh no. I'll have to do it with my phone. So really, we had it at $29.99. I think we have it at $24.99 now. Right here. Let me look. This is the good content, by the way. You waited all the 2 hours for this. All right, I'm logged back in. And now we can go to merch or members only, either one. And yeah, I dropped it. This thing with your YouTube discount is down to $18.99. It literally is more than $20 for us to put it in the box and ship it. So we'll lose money on each one. But we can do that because you're kicking in $5 a month. So yeah, I've made it as low as I can go. They're only $9.99 if you go into the store though. If you walk into the store, you don't have to remember anything. You just buy it for $9.99. It's all shipping. So we make $1 or $2 if you buy it in the retail store. If you buy it online, we lose $1 or $2. It's all in the wash. So, but they're great bags. We used them a lot. We tested them a bunch. We love them. So while you're at it, get yourself some of the little flippy floppy ones that are awesome. That's right. Legion says, when I asked about the list, I meant, could you make a list of the best things that are not related to aquariums? Yeah, I've thought about making a blog or something like that, and then I think about, do I have time for this? Like, this seems like I don't have time for this. And, like, if I'm only helping 6.5 people, it's like, that might not be worth my time. But if everyone, like, oh man, people bought 500 people love it because they bought the thermos. Like, okay, that's helping a decent amount of people. That's right. Just get a plane ticket to Seattle. That's right. You won't have to pay those shipping fees. You save all your shipping fees. You save that $4.99 when you fly to Seattle. Think about that. The value of an Aquarium Co-op membership is equal to a plane ticket round trip. I'd like to see anybody buy a round trip plane ticket for only $4.99. You show me that, huh? Let's see here. I should probably call it. I want to try and dethatch my yard again. Trying to get ready for the white clover for the deer. Oh, I do have to say, but wait, there's more. Yeah, I'm not only a member, I'm also the owner. But wait, there's more. My Corey's definitely wink at me. Maybe. That's what Cory doors are cool for. I see on the back of some aquarium fertilizers to twice a week, but it seems a bit much. What do you think? With aquarium fertilizers, it's how much are your plants going to eat? So you might get some people that eat 5 times a day. You might get some people that eat once a day. You need to find the balance, right? So maybe you're a guy or girl that eats once a day. Maybe you eat 5 times a day. So long as you're in balance, it doesn't really matter. And that's kind of the same thing with fertilizer. You could dose really hard once. You could dose a little bit 20 times a week. I run a lot of mine on automatic dosers. I get dosed every day. Then I have ones that don't also, but they both work. Corey found the infinite money glitch. Buy your own membership. I will say, I do get a portion of my own membership each time. It makes it very affordable, but still stupid. I mostly, there's so many things that won't let me test for you guys being members if I'm not a member. So I have to be my own member so I can test to make sure it works. What is that awesome I'll say awesome tossum robots. What is that awesome tall plant by the window? This thing? That is I think it was my, I don't know, probably $70 fake plant from Amazon. It's this like bendy wire ones. And pretty realistic. Wasn't that hard to put together. And does the job. I wanted some greenery and some plant life, but I don't want to haul water up here. So kind of doing what it needs to do. Any good books lately? I haven't been reading many books. I did edit the first 27 pages of the book that Chris and I are doing together. So my plan was to edit and write my parts of 20 pages a day while I was out of town. And then the family member passed away in day 2, and all of that did not happen. From there for that point on, it was mayhem like every day, just like people coming to visit and things we had to go do and things we had to help with. And so you know, now I forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta put that back on the schedule. I gotta edit another, like, there's like another 160 pages to go. It's a long book. So now I want a free membership just to order insulated totes. That's the wrong way to look at it. You buy the membership because I already discounted the totes, right? This is one of those glass half full, half empty scenarios. Look at it for the benefit of, like, if I buy a membership, I'm going to save all this money on the totes. Instead of, if I get a free membership, I could buy the totes. The totes only exist because we have members. Pay into it. Look, glass is half full. Alrighty. I'm going to go. We're going to remind everybody, compliment someone in life, whether it's with their aquarium or just in your day-to-day life, but give them a compliment. It'll make you feel better. They'll feel better. You'll analyze things a little more. And if everybody does that, maybe you'll get a compliment this week. Who knows? You'll just have to wait and see. I will see you next Wednesday. If you're a member, tomorrow you get a sneak peek at our video coming out on Friday. If you're not a member, it'll come out on Friday. And then if you really get bored, I think Monday is our blog article. And then after that, it's Wednesday again. So, we'll stay at it. You keep buying. Keep complimenting. We'll see you in the Facebook group. We'll see you on the forum. We'll see you somewhere. And I think it's my leftover enchilada from dinner last night tonight. That's right. Better get a whole 16-ounce thing of sour cream. That way I can change some substrate if I want. I'll see you later. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for everybody that gave free memberships. We'll see you next time. And I'm out. Ooh, the temperature, 192 degrees. It's getting hot in here. Woo! Woo-hoo.